Well, I'm not as quite high on the recruiting class today. It's kind of like the stock market. We go up and down a little bit. But, I think first of all, probably a tremendous sense of urgency as a coaching staff. You get in here so late and you realize, we looked at the defensive line situation, for instance. You say, well, there's 4 senior defensive linemen or 5. I mean, if we don't go recruit some defensive linemen, we can't play next year. So I think it was a tremendous amount of just urgency on the coaching staff. The second thing, and this isn't going to change. I think we have a really good product to sell. I mean, you stand out there on those practice fields today. One of my players from Notre Dame is here today, Terrence Howard, that played tailback for me. You look around at our grass practice fields and our indoor facility. You look at our stadium. You look at our offices, the pit, the academic building. I mean, we've got really good facilities here. We really do. And then the presentation that Albuquerque brings. So I think, let's face it, I think it is kind of exciting for young guys, certain guys, to say, hey, I want to go build something. I want to be part of something, particularly when you have a new coaching staff. I think you can really sell that. So, I mean, it was a combination of a lot of things, but I do think, the thing I'm most happiest about, 2 things. One, the kind of coaching staff we were able to put together, and then the recruiting. We're able to recruit here. I really believe that.
I feel like you did a good job. You and your staff did a good job of recruiting to the system, particularly on
Yeah, I think so. It's too early to start mentioning names. And again, we needed so many numbers at so many positions. It wasn't like we, had the luxury of just saying, okay, let's just focus on this one thing. We tried to help ourselves across the board. But I think we do have, for instance, at corner, I think we've got 3 young guys that can be in the mix. The guys that are capable of doing some things we're asking them to do. You look at the wide receiver situation, I think there's some guys that are maybe combination slot back, running back kind of guys. So yeah, I think we did. And I think as we start moving forward here, where we can be more organized in recruiting, then you specifically recruit to the system. And, we're in place. I mean, our identity on offense is going to be what it is. We're not changing. That's what we're going to be. And the same thing on defense. And, you look at the Boise State programs, you look at TCU, the continuity they've had in schemes. I mean, what they are is what they are, and they were patient and they built, and that's what I see us being.
With this, then as a line is, how important is Coach Lensmeyer and how good of a job is he doing?
Yeah, we got him suited up. I went to the NCAA. He's got a 16th year of eligibility, so Coach Lensmeyer and Coach Wareheim are really important. No, I think the combination, to be quite honest, of Derek Wareheim and Jason Lensmeyer is as good a combination of young coaches, I think, anywhere. Derek Wareheim was a 4-year starter at Tulsa. Jason Lensmeyer, a 4-year starter at New Mexico. They're both about the same age, both very passionate. Derek coaches the tight ends, but he's involved with the offensive line because he's got such great understanding of the system. Jason Lensmeyer is the first guy I hired, first guy I interviewed, first guy I hired. He's a difference maker. He's a difference maker. I think the combination of Jason Lensmeyer and Derek Wareheim is outstanding. And both of those guys are, they're not ego guys. They're unselfish. They care about this place and they care about kids. So I feel pretty good about that.
Have you seen Lensmeyer, being a former Lobo, be able to kind of relate to the guys on that level?
Yeah, I mean, I've in a lot of areas, as with all our coaches, I've talked to him about the meal plan. I've talked to him about the training table. I've talked to him about the culture around New Mexico. He recruits New Mexico for us. He's the guy that I go to who really has the final decision on who we offer, along with myself. So no question. I mean, he's been a huge asset to this staff. Plus, he's like the next mayor of Albuquerque. You go somewhere and introduce him in this community. He's had more standing ovations than I have. That's for sure.
How about Coach Hilgard? And what he's been doing in the weight room.
I think the proof is I think you're probably better talking to our players. The guys that have been here, experienced, maybe the off season in the past compared to what the off season is now. Ben Hilgard, to be quite honest, he does it the only way that I really know how to do it. My son was a player at Arizona State for 4 years and went through that system. Ben spent 6 years at Arizona State, so I know what his program is, and that's what I've been accustomed to in the past. So I think our players would probably be better off to answer the question, what's different about it.
What have you you seen out of the Jackson twins so far? How are these similar and how are they different?
Yeah, they got a lot of personality. That's the biggest thing. I mean, they bring a definite spark, a definite personality to the team, to our defensive backs. They don't always do the right thing, that's for sure, technique-wise. But they jump out there and they compete, and they're really neat guys. And I'll tell you this, I still have no idea which one's which.
I was gonna ask you, one of the coaches just called them twin.
Yeah. Well, I call them 2 or 3. The problem is they don't have 2 and 3 on in the meetings. They don't have 2 and 3 on when they're walking across campus. On the practice field, I'm okay with that. But they really are identical twins to the point they even finish each other's sentences. It's kind of comical to be around those guys.
Dallas Bulma is obviously a returning starter that played with the defense. How's he coming along? You've seen him take kind of leadership role in defense.
I think he is. He's in competition, though. I don't know that. He's done a good job. He's a good, solid guy. He's a better football player than what maybe a lot of people anticipate. He's shown some leadership ability for us. There's no question. He's a guy that's played in a lot of games around here.
The running backs is Casey Carrier. Do you have any idea who's going to be your main back? How that's going to work?
If we played today, it would be Casey Carrier and DeMarcus Rogers, probably the first 2 to touch the football.
Finally, Coach, Reggie Ellis, how's he coming along? How good is he going to be?
Tell you what, Reggie is a heck of a kid. I've really gotten to know him. I really appreciate his story and his past, and he brings a lot to this football team. He's kind of my Zen master, I call him. He's the guy that comes up with the great quotes for me. He's very well read. He's not afraid to give you his opinion, which I like. I just tell him when enough of his opinion's enough. But I think he's going to be a tremendous leader for us. We're in a unique situation with those older defensive linemen, and then the rest of them are freshmen. There's no guys in between. And I think Reggie and Ugo, I think they can be tremendous mentors for these young freshman defensive linemen. I've been pleased with him. Okay.